nerds, what's up? Today's video is going to be my haul and TBR, so let's just get right on into this. My haul is going to include some library books I caught, one book from a publisher, as well as a bunch of NetGalley arcs that I was just approved for because I went on a rampage on NetGalley and requested a bunch of things and now I'm overwhelmed. Sounds like me, sounds like something I would do. So let's go through the library books first. So I pulled out from the library Tell Me How You Really Feel by Aminah Rae Safi. This is the Sassy Book Club book of the month for September, and our live show is actually tonight that I'm filming this, which is October 4th at 7 p.m. PST. But both Chelsea and I DNF'd this. Chelsea for different reasons than me. She just wasn't feeling it right now, but she probably will read it. And me, I was like not in the right headspace for this right now. It was like giving me anxiety because a character feels very similar to somebody in my life. Couldn't read this, and I don't know if I'm going to ever read this because also like the topic of this book is just like a high school romance, and I don't know if I even want to read it bad enough to like try again. But I got this from the library. And then I also picked up Helter Skelter, The Manson Murders by Vincent Bugliosi with Kurt Gentry, and this is the true crime novel of the Manson murders that happened in the 70s. And I picked this up because I went and watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then I also watched season 2 of Mindhunter, and both of those stories have the Manson murders in them. And obviously like fiction is not reality, but there's just been like kind of a surge of Manson coverage again in media, which I feel like happens every 5 to 10 years. And I have read part of this book before. I was really into learning about the Manson murders back when I was in high school, so I did read part of this, but I decided that I wanted to read more about it because I do know quite a bit about the Manson murders, but I feel like I've done some research like online and stuff whenever it comes up in media like it did, but I really want to read this because I know that it goes deep in. And I've been to the Museum of Death that's in Los Angeles. That museum is like a lot to handle, so I don't like recommend it for just like a casual person who doesn't really want to see like lots of gross things. But that Museum of Death was really interesting. I would definitely go back, but it was overwhelming. And they also have the Manson murders in there. So I decided I wanted to try to read this. I haven't gotten to it yet. We'll see. I picked up Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios. This is one of the books that was on my TBR for Contemporary-a-thon, which I will talk about in my wrap-up. I'm currently about, what, a third or a fourth, somewhere in between there, of the way through, and I'm absolutely loving it, so you will hear more about this in my October wrap-up because I'm still reading it right now. But this is a book about a high school relationship. The main character is the girl, and her name is Grace, and she has a bad relationship at home. Her stepdad is like at least emotionally abusive and used to be physically abusive. Her mom is like probably has OCD, some mental health issues about like cleanliness, and is also like emotionally abusing her. And then she meets this boy who is perfect, except it ends up also being an abusive relationship. So there's just a lot of abuse and psychological abuse, especially. I don't know if there will be physical yet, but I would imagine to trigger warn for that just in case. It could be a very hard book for some people, so keep an eye out for that, but I'm really loving it so far. And then I also picked up Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This is the sequel to Scythe by Neal Shusterman, which is a like utopian universe where death has been gotten rid of by technology and science and stuff, and so they have these things called scythes in order to maintain the human population, so they're the only things that can kill people. And yeah, this is the sequel to that, so I haven't gotten to it yet, but I want to. Those are all the books I got from the library. The book that I got from a publisher in physical is this book, A Single Light by Tosca Lee, which is the sequel to A Line Between, which was so freaking good. I like didn't know I was gonna like it as much as I did. Highly recommend. It's a thriller. A Line Between is about a girl who, when she was a kid, her mom took her and her little sister, her big sister, I can't remember, to a cult, and they joined a cult, and then it's about her escaping the cult. And like, also there's like disease something going on, and it was really good, and I can't wait to read this because it was really good. I didn't know there was gonna be a sequel. It kind of ended on a cliffhanger, but like it was kind of an open-ended cliffhanger where it like felt like it could just be the end and you just will never know. And so I'm really excited to read this. So thank you very much for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. Lastly, for the haul, I gotta pull out my phone because I have some books on Kindle that I got from NetGalley. The books that I got on NetGalley is, and I don't know all of the synopses to these, I don't remember specifically, but I have The Body in the Garden, which is a historical fiction thriller. I have Cherished Wings, which is a historical fiction set in the 1920s, and it's about set in the 40s, about World War II. I have The Last True Poets of the Sea, which Chelsea has been raving about, so I'm very excited to get to this one. This one came out on October 1st too, so I definitely need to get to that as soon as possible. And then I have How to Build a Heart by Maria Padian. This one comes out in 2020, January 2020. Cherished Wings actually came out in 2018, so it's been out. Body in the Garden comes out in 2020. And then I also have The Yellow Bird Sings, which I believe is also a historical fiction, and that also comes out in 2020. Lots of books to read that I just got approved for. I definitely need to prioritize Fireborn as well as The Last True Poets of the Sea and A Single Light, because this is out. This is like a finished copy. It came out last month, so I definitely need to get to this as soon as possible too. So with that said, let's move into the TBR because I have some books I need to read. So obviously I need to read Last True Poets of the Sea because that came out on October 1st. I now have it on NetGalley. I need to review it. I also need to review Fireborn, which comes out this month. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it comes out a little bit later this month. Let me see if I have it written down. It's out on the 15th of October. So I do need to read this as soon as possible, and then I need to read A Single Light. This one I am going to potentially leave until November, so this is like my least required book. I'm currently in the middle of Bad Romance, so I definitely need to finish this one. That's a book that I need to read. And I also am in the middle of Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. I'm about 2/3 of the way in, maybe 3/4. I'm listening to that one on audiobook, and I actually do not like the narrator, so that's one thing. I need to finish this book. This is the last book in the Dark Artifices series. So it's about Emma and Julian, and yeah, there's a lot of things that are spoilery, but takes place in the Shadowhunter universe. Ideally, I'd also like to get to these two books this month since I got them out of the library. If these two books don't happen, it's not a big deal. I'll send them back. I'll request them again. No worries there. Or I might be able to just keep holding them if there's no holds on them. So I do want to read those if I can. I really want to get to Burned by Ellen Hopkins. This was the book that came out of my TBR jar last month for September, and I just didn't make my way to it. So in an ideal world, I'd like to get to this because I'd like to stay up to date on my TBR jar picks. Burned is an Ellen Hopkins book, so it's written in verse. This is about an abusive religious family where Peyton starts asking questions, and she falls in love probably, but her father catches her in a compromising position, and obviously things will go down from there. I'd like to get to that if I can, and I absolutely need to get to Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Again, we are reading this for the TOG read-along, me and Brittni from Brittni's Book Find, along with Jackie and Paula. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series. It's about Selena Sardothian. Things are happening. The live show for Empire of Storms is going to be on my channel on Tuesday, October 29th at 5 p.m. PST, so make sure to join us for that. Yeah, we're reading all of these, so all of the books, every other one is on my channel, every other one is on Brittni's channel, and we'll be reading these until we finish them, basically. About one a month. Let's pick another TBR jar. Are we ready? Also, did you notice that I'm wearing a fuzzy shirt? I'm pretending that Southern California has joined the rest of the world in fall, even though it's like 85 degrees outside. So, let's pick some books. These are color coordinated. I will explain later. I've got a green one. For a TBR jar, I pick 3 out and then I have to read one of them. I have a purple one. And I have a white one. Oh, I love when they're all different colors. So this book was Scarlet and I actually read this last month. So I'm going to put this one, or I read this 2 months ago. So I'm gonna put this one away and I'm gonna pick a third one. I mean a fourth. Well, I'm gonna pick another one, whatever. Oh, another white one, perfect. First, I picked out the green one, which is classics and nonfiction, and I picked out To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a book that I had to read when I was in like 9th grade, and I actually really liked this book back then, so I got a like 99-cent copy from a used bookstore and wanted to try to read it again. And then I picked out a purple one, which is contemporary, thriller, mystery, etc. And this one is Schizo, which is about a boy who has schizophrenia and he doesn't know if the grief that he's feeling is like real or if the person he's grieving over was real, etc. And then the last one that I pulled out was White, which is dystopian, sci-fi, or paranormal, and I picked up The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. The year is 2059. Paige is working on the criminal underworld of Scion, London. Her job is to scout for information by breaking into people's minds. For Paige is a dreamwalker, a rare kind of clairvoyant, and under Scion law she commits treason by simply breathing. Elsewhere, however, there is a seat of power even greater than Scion, and they have a different design for Paige and her uncommon abilities. I do know that this is a book of the month. Somebody was just talking about it. Somebody was just talking about this being a book of the month for something, so I might pick up this one. However, this is a big boy. So we'll see. I never pick this book in the video. I always leave these to let me kind of pick. I might put a poll on Twitter like I did last month, but moving on, we need to pick our poll for Goodreads TBR. Goodreads TBR, I go on my Goodreads page and I pick 3 books out. I randomize the numbers. I pick 3 books out and then I will put a poll up here and you guys will help me pick for that one. So, let's get my laptop open. It's charged, thank the Lord. Okay, Goodreads. Let me open up my audio thing. Okay. No, not audio. Screen recording. Okay. I am now recording the screen. So, we're gonna go to my books and we're gonna go to my want to read. I have 596 books on there. Sometimes the books are also on my shelf, sometimes they're not. It just depends. But I'm gonna pull out a random generator. We're gonna go between 596. Let me double check that that's the right number. We're gonna generate a number. We're going to 411. Okay, 411 is The Last to Let Go by Amber Smith. The Last to Let Go is a twisted tragedy leaves Brooke and her siblings on their own in this provocative new novel. Junior year, Brooke Winters is supposed to be about change. She's transferring schools, starting fresh, and making plans for college. But all her dreams are shattered one hot summer afternoon when her mother is arrested for killing Brooke's abusive father. No one really knows what happened that day, if it was premeditated or self-defense. And now Brooke and her siblings are on. Apparently there's a theme this month with abuse. It's really great. I'm really enjoying that. I actually do really enjoy books that are about abuse. I find them often really good. Let's go back to our books. Let's do another number. 107. Number 107 is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. So I should just pick this one for my TBR jar is what it's telling me. So I think I'm gonna pick this, and I'm actually gonna just pick another random number. Okay, 559. Oh, so all the way at the end. Okay, number 559 is A Cathedral of Myth and Bone by Kat Howard. Oh, I hope you guys picked this one. This is the one I'm hoping for. Kat Howard wrote The Magicians, and it's one of my favorite books of the year that I read it. I think I read it last year. It was so good. Highly recommend. And this story is a collection of short stories, including 2 new ones in A Cathedral of Myth and Bone. In these stories, equally as beguiling and spellbinding as her novels, Howard expands into the enchanted territory of myths and saints, as well as Arthurian novella set upon a college campus, which retells the story of King Arthur through the women's eyes. So this series of short stories, kind of creepy, perfect for the holiday. Let's see if you guys will pick that one. Lastly, number 585. I love when they're close because it makes my life a little bit easier. Okay, number 585. Oh, it's the last True Poets of the Sea. So I already am planning on reading this, but I'm gonna keep this one. Should I keep this on the list, or should I? I guess I already did the thing with the bone season as part of my TBR, so I think I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm not gonna pick this one. I'm gonna regenerate a number to 395. Dang, what a wild time. It's just crazy how like random stuff works. What number was it? 395. 395 is The Souls of Black Folk, which I own. So number 395 is The Souls of Black Folk, and this is a book written by W.E.B. Du Bois. And so he played a key role in developing the strategy and program that dominated early 20th century black protests in America. And this is a collection of essays by him. So nonfiction for sure, not too long, etc. So that's the third book that you guys can pick from. Our choices for the poll is The Last to Let Go, a book about abuse, The Cathedral of Myth, which is a series of short stories by Kat Howard, and creepy crawlies, or The Souls of Black Folk, which is a non-fiction set of essays by W.E.B. Du Bois. Those are your 3 picks for the poll here, so please help me with my TBR. And that's everything for this video. I have a lot of books I need to read. I'm already stressed. I put too much on my plate last month, and then I'm continuing to do so. So that's my life sometimes. I just love it. Yay. What is your most anticipated read for October? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Please make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and that subscribe button if you haven't already. I make videos every Thursday and Saturday, but you can always be notified every time I post a video by hitting that little notification bell, and I will see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye!